Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365, King Tuck is back. The offense unloads, and Taillon shuts down the Marlins. Load up the old beer bat. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. 14-1, the Cubs pound the Marlins, and that's more like it. That's how you play against a team who's marching out a lot of minor leaguers. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, and Sarah spinning the ones and twos for us tonight. Hi to everybody in the live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you go to that new YouTube channel and subscribe so you don't miss any of the shows or any of the content we have. And then also like it, tell a friend, tell a loved one, tell a stranger on a street corner. We don't care. Tell somebody. Someone. Just tell somebody.
Yep. I like what Corey said in the chat. Hit the like button for Kyle Tucker.
Corey also trying to create rules, or not. He says, if you were bitching about Kyle Tucker in the chat yesterday, you don't get to celebrate tonight. Sorry, I don't make the rules. You okay with that?
You can't swear.
I said witching.
You said witching.
I said witching.
I tend to agree with those rules.
You were witching.
Yeah. Anyway, I said I bring up Kyle Tucker because he set the tone tonight, and he busted out of the slump. I don't know what he was doing down there in Miami. He's got a wife, but, and I'm not putting out anything. I'm just saying.
Listen,
maybe the guy needed to go do something last night after the game. That's all I know.
Cubs win 14-1. They are now 29-20. That was 21 hits by 11 different players total, 2 home runs, 14 runs. And they showed the stat, which I think is surprising. It's still surprising to me. I don't know how else to say it. 10 runs or more this season. The Cubs have now done it 10 times. Yankees next at 9 and the Dodgers 7. If you would have told me last offseason when they were putting together the team and we were talking about, oh, they got Turner. All right, Tucker's an upgrade. It should change we've been looking for a superstar. A superstar should impact the lineup. If PCA can take a step, if the catchers can produce more, yada, 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 I still wouldn't have had them 10 times with 10 or more runs, and we're not even to June and leading Major League Baseball. I'm surprised that they're in that company. I just am.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reason that you're surprised is because, you know, he didn't highlight most of the night, but he still had a 2-for-5 night, had an RBI, 2-run score, but Pete Crow Armstrong has been an MVP for this team. Nico Hoerner, like, no one talks about Nico Hoerner because we know that he's not going to hit the ball over the fence. Mm-hmm. He's not flashy, but he's quietly hitting .292 and giving you elite defense. And he might be the best player on this team when it comes to situational hitting, right? And Dansby Swanson, 791 OPS as of today.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 keys. The fact that Seiya Suzuki has taken a step forward because Kyle Tucker's in the lineup, either in front of him or behind him. Oh, and he didn't hit the ball over the fence tonight, and I know May hasn't been as great, but Carson Kelly still has Barry Bonds-like numbers.
I mean, how many guys do they have that are on pace for 30 home runs this season?
Right. And Miguel Amaya had a 5 RBI night yesterday. You know, so
yeah.
And Matt Shaw had 2 hits tonight, man. Like I could keep going, but when you say that you're surprised about this offense, as most people are to this point, the guys I just listed, the first 3 at least, Dansby Swanson, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Nico Hoerner, to me, are the reason that this offense is way better than we ever expected. We thought that it could be good, it could be competent, because Seiya finally taking that step, Kyle Tucker being Kyle Tucker, you know what you're going to get out of Hap, and then you just kind of hope with and wish a little bit with everyone else. We were optimistic about PCA hitting like he did in August last year. We didn't know what Shaw was going to be, and it's been 2 games. But 2 games, he's looked pretty good since coming back from Iowa. And then Swanson, you're just hoping he's a league average hitter. And same thing with Hoerner.
Yeah.
But Swanson, he's got double-digit homers, and he's got an OPS near 800 right now.
Half of us wanted to trade him away.
Yeah. There's just... I think, and I didn't even mention Michael Busch, but he pinch hit in this game anyway, so that's why. But like, he's had a really solid season too, and we don't talk about him enough. So when you say you're surprised, I say those first 3 guys are the reason. But you can point at many dudes in this lineup. Ian Happ getting back in there tonight, didn't do much, and then got a hit off the position player, so feeling good going in tomorrow. But even him before the injury, like, he was just setting the tone at the top of the lineup, and yeah, when he's at the top of the lineup, I think this offense is fun to watch.
I'm definitely not shocked that the offense is better. I'm surprised that it's been this much better so far this season. And I will caution once again, it is not a full baseball season. Baseball seasons can be very different in the second half than they were in the first half. In a lot of different ways. So let's not take it for granted right now. Let's enjoy the ride. The offense is rolling. Everybody is contributing. And what I like is when you score 14 runs and all you had was 2 homers, everybody was contributing to this.
The 6th inning, they had mostly singles. And then Shaw hit a double, and Seiya had the 2-run homer.
The 8th inning, or the 8-run 6th inning, when it was a tie game.
Yeah.
And then you had Seiya with the dreaded leadoff walk if you're the other team.
Yep.
And then you had, Dansby comes through, PCA comes through, Nico comes through, Turner comes through. Justin Turner, 3 hits tonight.
And a sac fly.
Yep. Good thing they didn't DFA him.
I think one of those hits, I think me and you both thought that it probably should have been ruled an error.
Yeah.
But they gave him a hit. And you know what?
Just going with the official scorecard.
Yeah, yep.
Matt Shaw, couple hits again. Opposite field, almost took it out, showed a little power, so we'll talk about him. Seiya, I don't know what else to say about Seiya. He's been a great start, and all with a different lineup that had people all up in arms before the game, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts in the live YouTube chat. Curious what everybody thinks. I do want to start with what Corey was starting to talk about, though, Tucker, because so many people were mad after last night's game. I heard, and I'm not saying some of it isn't justified, didn't have a great night in the field yesterday. Has been down at the plate a little bit, but still better than most Major League Baseball players, just not what he was doing early in the season. What is it, a slump? Yes, it's been a little bit of a slump for him. For his standards, it's been a slump. But tonight, you get a bunch of hits from him, you get the home run, and you look around and you say, what were we all complaining about?
Yep.
I heard people on the radio, and I saw people on Twitter all saying I wouldn't give him the $500 million, based on like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's not a $500 million player right there.
Those people don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, you could say it like, are there 15 games a year you could say that where that he didn't play like a? Well, yeah, but you could say that about every player.
Well, let's use a player that me and you both wanted and then didn't end up getting. Juan Soto's taking a lot of heat right now because apparently he's not hustling to first base. Would you still take Juan Soto on your team, Luke Stuckmeyer?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. So
I'd also take Aaron Judge, who I wanted a few years before that.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I'm not trying to get into that conversation. I'm just saying that some of the best players in the league will slump. They just do because they're human. But they're still the best players in the league.
Tucker, 3 hits, solo homer, and a walk to go with that. Now, the lineup thing that everybody was talking about, we debated for a couple days. When Hap returns, what will they do with PCA? Now, PCA had 3 strikeouts last night, but I don't think that influenced at all Craig Counsell's decision to put Hap back at the leadoff spot. Jed Hoyer talked about it on the radio, kind of gave it away earlier today. I believe he was on The Score talking about, they have good options. PCA is a good option, especially when he's playing that way, to put fear into another team at leadoff. But did Happ deserve to be taken off of it? No, because he's been great at it, and he sees more pitches and all those things. But the lineup was Happ at leadoff, Carson Kelly at cleanup, Dansby at 5, and PCA down to 6. A lot of people were upset that PCA was down at 6. You wanted to see Carson Kelly, who'd been so great against lefties. So that's why he was up at the cleanup spot. Could I see things moving around? Yes, but it's like, who are you going to – I'm going to trust counsel on this. Mm-hmm. Who are you going to take out of it? You're going to move Seiya out of the top 3 spots?
No.
Everybody says, well, PCA is so great, he's got to be in the first 3. And I understand that. I want my best hitters in the top 3. But where are you going to put Seiya?
Yeah. I think you can make –
if Happ leads off, what are you going to do?
I think you could still make an argument that Seiya is a better hitter than PCA.
He's a more proven hitter than PCA.
Okay.
For sure.
That's
for sure.
That's the better way of saying it. He's definitely the more proven hitter. Because as awesome as PCA has been, tonight was, for a first half of the game, tonight was another example of why I was okay if, when Happ came back, you put him down lower in the lineup. He had 2 at-bats. He swung at he swung at the first pitch every time and did nothing with it. Now, third time up, he hit one in the opposite field for a hit to drive in a run.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I've said this a few times. Like, you take the good with the bad with PCA, just like you took the good with the bad with Javi Baez, right? I'm not asking Pete Crow Armstrong to go up there and walk 12% of his at-bats, but I am asking him to work counts a little bit more. And not chase as much on balls out of the zone.
Well, that's the next step, right?
Right. That is the next step.
That's the next step in his evolution.
That's what makes you blow your mind a little bit, is that he's not done developing as a hitter.
No.
So right now, Seiya's more proven. I think you can make an argument that he's just a better hitter right now, but Pete Crow Armstrong could be on his way to definitely being a better hitter. I think Pete Crow Armstrong is the overall better player. But as far as a hitter, I think Seiya is better because there's just more proven there. We obviously need to see more from Pete as a hitter, like I said, with chase rate and just seeing more balls. But I would buy my stock on Pete Crow Armstrong in that scenario. But
I actually love his power and speed in the back half of that lineup. Like, I love that it's dangerous down there.
Yeah,
I understand the fact that if he becomes this MVP level player that he's been playing at for a little while, if he becomes that level guy, you're going to have to move him up. But Dansby, as you mentioned, is having a great season right now. Well, and so I don't have a problem with Dansby hitting ahead of PCA either.
Well, I think tonight, remember, they threw a lefty.
Yeah,
so
it changes.
I expect PCA to be hitting 5th tomorrow because Swanson's just been incredible against lefties this year.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to figure it out myself today. I was like, okay, we're going to put Happ in the leadoff. Do you put Pete 2? Or do you move Seiya to the 2 hole and then put Pete 4? And I was like, wow, we're gonna put Pete at a cleanup hole. Like, I never thought I would make an argument for that, and I just couldn't figure it out. But I think overall, like, right there in the 5 hole, behind Bush on most days is good with Happ back there at the leadoff spot. So overall, I mean, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. This entire offense, I just listed in the first 5 minutes of the show, I listed all these dudes who are playing well, man.
I mean, almost everybody's hitting.
Yeah.
There are days where each guy takes a day off, but, like, they've been great. Corey agrees. He likes PCA where he's at. Happ definitely likes him at leadoff. And I think it was Craig Brindle said he thinks that Tucker benefits from Happ batting leadoff. Well, we know he sees more pitches that way.
Yeah.
Before he comes up. And Craig was actually talking about Nico hitting behind PCA, and that's, that could be a 1-2. I don't know.
Do we I know we got to do a break, but I'm interested on the chat's thoughts and your thoughts on Tucker DHing after what happened last night. And if it's worth the conversation or if it's just one day.
All right, let's discuss that. You tell us in the chat, what did you think of Tucker DHing tonight? But first, a word from our sponsors. Excuse me. Hey, baseball fans, if you're thinking about upgrading your drive this season, Toyota's 2025 lineup is definitely worth a look. First up, there's the RAV4. Versatile, reliable, always ready for a little adventure. Then there's the Grand Highlander. Plenty of room, super comfortable, great for families or long road trips. Looking for efficiency, the Corolla's got you covered. It's smart, it's stylish, and it's easy on gas. Need something a little tougher? The Tacoma brings serious durability, whether you're on the road or off the beaten path. And finally, the Camry. Sleek, fun to drive, and packed with performance. You can check out the full lineup at Toyota.com or stop by your local Chicagoland dealership. Good time to become a CHGO diehard right now and upgrade your fandom today. Get access to our exclusive written content, a free t-shirt from our merch store, plus plenty of discounts on future merch and events, plus access to the old CHGO Discord Lounge where we all hang out and talk Chicago sports and so much more. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards and sickos already in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level. Just like our favorite teams need a home court, home field, or home ice advantage, your home needs a home flooring advantage, and Empire Today can give it to you. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to the big box store. You see the hot dog stand when you walk in, and then it's neon lights, and you're walking around aimlessly. One minute you're looking at light bulbs, then all of a sudden you're in the toilet aisle, and you don't know how you got there because you got lost and confused. Sure, they might have somebody that's on a flooring department, but that person might be selling faucets the next day, could be out in the garden center trying to sell you geraniums the following day. It's tough. It's tough business. So why do I like my new flooring from Empire? Because everything's perfect. I can see it from the experts. They help me pick the right flooring, the right colors in your space. You get precise measurements taken. And with Empire Today, you get clear up front and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule that installation as soon as the next day. Nobody likes to wait. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, here it comes, $350 off. All you have to do is use our promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard it right. $350 off with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. 14-1 win for the Cubs. The chat is already trying to predict Cody's beer bat chug because after a win, this is what we do.
Yep, and I'm reading some of these comments related to what I asked before the break, so we'll get to them after we do the beer bat.
After the chug.
All right. So tonight's beer bat, we haven't talked about him yet, so I'll give it to him. But I'll give it to Jameson Taillon because 7 innings of 1 earned runs, gave up another homer or whatever. I'm never expecting too much out of this guy, but the bullpen did need a rest tonight, and I think even Craig Counsell said that before the game or after the game yesterday. Yeah. He came out and delivered. He gave up 3 homers against the Marlins last week, and it was made such a big deal here in the city by other airwaves. And it was technically a quality start. And then tonight he did better than that. So, I think he just deserves a lot of credit for just always being consistent. And, he'll have some bad starts. He had that one just recently where he gave up like 4 homers, and that I don't remember who it was against. It's not like he's been awesome in May, but I felt like in April he was what we expect him to be. And overall, since beginning of last year, I think he's just been good enough to get you some innings, give you a chance to win, and so I think he deserves more credit than what a lot of fans want to give him. So that's the dedication. Now, the rules of the beer bat chug. 10.25 is considered a quality chug. Only once this season has Cody failed to beat that mark. It's almost like you're putting pressure on me here.
A little bit. Sarah and I have two separate stopwatches. We'll combine what we see and what we get here, and we will decide what it is. Now, we have Nicholas predicting 865. Rally Cap says 933. 10-1 from David. 868. Craig Brindle always with 969 in there. 978 from Jedi of Chicago. Barb's calling 95. And I know you're still waiting on your turkey meatballs.
I am.
For your birthday. So here we go. Cody Del Mendo with the beer bat chug. It starts when the beer hits the lips and begin. Here we go. Cody Del Mendo already halfway down the barrel of the beer bat chug down. This one's going smooth. Smooth. Del Mendo cruising like the Cubs offense. I had him at 10-8.
I got 1088. You slowed down at the very last second.
He paused for a second. I thought he was going to get it at 6. And then all of a sudden,
I avoided the embarrassment of choking.
I think what we have here
happened.
is a failure to reach the quality beer bat chug.
Yeah.
I will at least say this, Cody. Always impressive that you complete it without vomiting. However, in this case, your effort did not meet the Cubs' effort tonight.
Well,
and frankly, I'm a little disappointed in your part.
Well, there's the good thing is we have an early start tomorrow. So,
well, that's true.
Sometimes you can't sweep the series. So tomorrow I will try and bounce back and end with a series win.
We're gonna do. That's a good thought. We're gonna get to these super chats in a second. I just wanted to touch on Taillon from what you were saying in the beer bat dedication. Yeah, he went 4 home runs and 3 home runs in back-to-back starts. But the previous start was 3 runs, all solo homers. Would I like to see him cut back on the home runs? Yes. Everybody would like to see less home runs. I'm just happy when there aren't a bunch of guys on base.
Yeah.
This start was exactly what they needed tonight, with the bullpen sort of reeling from the Hodge injury and the blown save and all the stuff that came with it. Everybody panicking, having PTSD flashbacks from last year, everybody concerned. This was the start that we asked for last night from Taillon. I think the exact thing we said was, I want Taillon, and then I want Flexen, and that's all I want.
Yeah.
And we got exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
2 innings of Flexen, who still has not allowed a single run as a Cub. Low leverage, whatever. He hasn't allowed a run.
Yeah.
Credit to him. And
Credit
Taillon, this is exactly what I want to see out of my innings eater in my rotation.
Yeah. No,
really nice start.
Yeah, I agree. He's just, I think the home run thing, I think it's worth talking about in just a different context. Like, should we be worried about that down the road? Because let's be honest, he gave up 3 home runs to the Marlins.
Yeah.
Who'd they play? Was it the Mets?
I think it was the Mets.
He gave up
4-homer one.
Yeah, the Mets have a really good offense. They're a good team. Whatever. That's one bad start. But tonight, 1 solo shot against those Marlins. So, it was kind of the reverse. A lot of people in our chat last night we're talking about Ben Brown and how it doesn't benefit him going up against the same team in recent time, just because he's a 2-pitch pitcher with a changeup that he throws 3% of the time. So you want to count that a 3rd pitch, whatever. But Jameson Taillon, they saw him a week ago, and he actually did better tonight than he did at Wrigley. At Wrigley, the wind was blowing in. And so, I think he didn't have those weather conditions that would benefit him tonight in Miami. And, gave up the solo shot, fine. I can live with giving up solo shots, especially if it's just like 1 or 2. And if the offense scores runs, then great. You're in a good position. So, I think the home run thing is just is a separate conversation. But overall, he keeps you in the game. Gives you a chance to win.
Taillon and Flexen, a winning combo. I believe it was Craig asking, does Council watch this show? That has been reported, but it cannot be confirmed. Some people say it. I'm not saying it. But is it possible that Counts watches the show?
If Craig Council watches this show, he has to like this show because
Listen,
me and you defend him more than anything.
All I know is we said Taillon, Flexen, end of game.
It is
how it played out. Just going to leave it at that.
But if he does listen to the show, I would assume he likes it because I just said that we defend him, but I do think we do defend him more than we criticize him. At least I know I do. And I feel like you do as well. So
when I'm not coughing,
yeah,
I do so. What were people saying about what you asked before the break?
Yeah, so Kyle Tucker DH tonight. And it was pretty, like, there was someone who said that they should DH him more because Seiya's under contract and he's a free agent at the end of the year, basically making it look, Craig said Suzuki's under contract, let him navigate the wall, DH Tucker more. And I raised an eyebrow at that.
Well, that Craig's comment, Suzuki's under contract, let him navigate the wall, takes me to Spiegel and Holmes on 670, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I believe they just had they were talking about last night, and they both sort of agreed, I'm not sure he's a good right fielder, which I was sort of sold on elite defense in right field. Maybe a defense hasn't been as good as I thought. I would agree that it hasn't been as good as I expected it to be. But when I watch Tucker play right field with way less experience at Wrigley Field, which is maybe the toughest right field in all of baseball, it's still better than Seiya. Okay,
I was hoping you were going to say that.
I don't it's still better than Seiya.
Yeah,
Seiya made a really nice play in left, but all the people that are clamoring for Seiya to play left field now because he had one nice throw, the next day he didn't have a nice throw, and let's not forget Ian Happ has won multiple Gold Gloves there. Yeah. So
I was looking at Kyle Tucker's advanced defensive numbers today or yesterday. I think it was today, actually. I'm a sicko. -2 defensive runs saved, and I think -1 outs above average. So, and then if you look at his previous seasons with Houston, those numbers are a lot better than that. Of course, those are through a full season. We're just in mid to late May right now. They could certainly change, right? Listen, last night's game, I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who thinks that he didn't have effort going after that ball in the 9th inning, I think you're delusional or just mad that they lost the game. He definitely tried to catch the ball. And I also think that wasn't a routine play. Full stop. That's what I thought that it was. I think the reason he DH'd today was because he ran into the wall earlier in last night's game. And
did seem a little hobbled after he...
Yes.
Now, you could argue that he maybe should have made a play on both of those.
Sure.
And I'm here for that conversation. If you at least one of the two.
If you want to say that if you want me to say which one he should have caught between the two from last night, it'd probably be that one in the 9th inning because at least it wasn't right at the wall. But just some of the discourse that I've read related to Kyle Tucker's defense just from that particular play, it just kind of mind-blowing considering what we've seen Seiya do in right field the last 2 years. So but all I know is that Kyle Tucker has played in the AL West all of his career except for this year. And so, yeah, maybe it's taking some adjusting to play at Wrigley Field. And he's probably played, I looked it up. He played at Marlins Park. He didn't play at Marlins Park or whatever it's called, Lone Depot Park. Yeah. He didn't play there last year. He played 3 games there in 2023, and that's it. So going into this series, he had only played there 3 times. So if you want to look back at some other defensive plays of him on the road, maybe we got to look at how many games he's even played at some of those parks. I just think that's worth talking about or looking at before just making this realization or this generalizing point that you think that he's not good at defense. He's certainly better than Seiya at defense.
But the question now is from a lot of people after a couple of games of watching something in the outfield that wasn't quite there. The question is he soft shoeing to avoid injury? Is that in the back of his mind? dude, you really got hurt last year. I don't want to get hurt. The big payday's almost here. Is that in his mind? Tell us what you think in the live YouTube chat, and we will discuss that coming up after the break. But first, Cody, a word from our sponsors.
Man, Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. What they have is a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly created menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city in Wrigleyville, River North, the suburbs, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands we know you love, like Good News and Mindy's. If you're a pro, they got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu and new ones added daily. Expertly created, again, right? They know you'll love Cresco and Florcow's incredible quality and consistent products. So visit Sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases under promo code HICHGO. At checkout to qualify, exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles.
Yeah.
They were at the bar next to Sunnyside in Wrigleyville this weekend.
I saw them on the broadcast. They were there.
Yeah. They were, but I'm curious if they made it as Simone Biles mainly, I guess, in this situation.
Made it there?
I wonder if they, I could have given the code. Anyway.
Right, you should have shouted it. Our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind with their premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by more than 300,000 people. Their sunglasses have durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. I like to use them golfing, fishing, driving in traffic. And they have so many colors available, you're bound to find a pair perfectly fitting your favorite team's colors. You know what I'm saying? Blue. I got them right here.
Blue.
If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. If you don't love your shades, go ahead and exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. CHGO viewers and listeners, pay attention. Go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with the code CHGO. More than 300,000 people rate those babies 5 stars. So use the code CHGO today at shadyrays.com.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, but I believe Seiya Suzuki with the home run tonight gave him 43 RBIs, which leads all of baseball.
Yeah?
Yeah.
People don't think I golf. You know how bad I need polarized sunglasses when I do golf? Because I'm in the rough all the time. I need polarized shades. Fishing, you can see the fish down in the water a lot easier. Or, rocks or whatever, so you don't destroy a boat.
Fair enough.
Anyways.
I didn't realize you were still doing that. I'm sorry. 43 RBIs, though. It leads baseball.
That's nice.
I did not realize that.
So what about the idea that maybe Kyle Tucker occasionally makes a business decision to not go as hard as maybe people wanted him to on a couple plays? I'll just say, first of all, the guy's still got to be getting used to playing up with a brick wall and ivy.
Yeah.
And I know interesting enough, he was on Waddle and Sylvie this week, and they were asking him about it to try and take the bait on right field's the hardest. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, it's different. Not everyone has the brick wall and stuff, but, you just go out and try to play as hard as you can and make the most plays, and it's not any different. And then they were asking him about the win, and he's like, yeah, but, we made plays. The other team didn't. You just got to do your best on it.
Yeah.
And so he made zero excuses for what you've seen. For the people that are saying he wants to DH because he wants to save himself for the contract, I would say, listen, no matter how well he hits, he's still going to be a great hitter. A DH or a guy who's really good in right field makes a difference in several $1 million.
Yeah, he ain't going to make as much money as a DH.
I would totally disagree with that. I could see how a human being who lost a lot of his season last year to a leg injury would say to himself, I don't really want to get hurt right before my payday.
Yeah.
Would that be natural? Sure, but I'm not sure that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Just might be a couple plays that he misread or, like you said, just wasn't familiar with the field.
I mean, I'm not trying to spin it, but like, can't this just be the guy's just trying to be healthy because he wasn't healthy last year and still was nearly a 5-WAR player playing 80 games?
Yeah.
Like, can it be looked at as that? I know that no one wants to look at it, but like that is another way you can look at it, because as a player, don't you think he wants to just be healthy?
Yeah. And KM saying, well, Ohtani's $700 million as DH.
Yeah, that's Ohtani though.
Well, it's Ohtani,
and he pitches,
and they're hoping that he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball when he returns to doing that.
Yeah, which is crazy. He's still not pitching yet, and I haven't followed that story enough. But yeah, he's still, and he got $700 million largely because he won multiple MVPs, all these things, and yeah, he can pitch. Yeah, right. But he also, you could look at offense, like he's one of the best hitters in the league, if not the best hitter in the league, outside of Aaron Judge, I guess.
And PCA.
PCA.
What did Corey just say in the chat? Our guy, Corey Friedman, said up a little bit higher. There it is.
Pretty sure
sprint speed on the play yesterday. He was running as fast as he normally does. He just runs like that. He's not a guy that looks like he's busted. That's right. He has longer strides. I would give that. And somebody was saying that he didn't look happy in the dugout. I would disagree with that. He's not a huge emotional guy. He loves to do the milking the cow, guys. He loves to milk the cow.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He still has fun at the ballpark. He's just not. He's not PCA. You're not going to see him pound his chest and give a big smile.
The best
every time he slides into a bag.
The best you'll see is when he hits a massive home run in a big moment. You'll
get a little milk in the cow.
He'll do the milk cow, run around the bases, and he'll bat flip the heck out of that bat.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah,
that's right. Milk the cow.
Milk the cow.
And he might be saying that because milking the cow. He also could be getting the old cash register ready, which is fine. What are we complaining about Kyle Tucker for?
Because
doesn't
people
every single Cubs fan want him to back next year? If you don't, you're out of your mind. Look how different the offense looks with the guy.
I know. Believe me.
What are we talking about?
I just need people to understand that Kyle Tucker, even though he didn't catch that ball in the ninth inning, that doesn't mean that he didn't try to catch the ball. Like, that's the biggest thing. People legitimately thought he didn't try to catch the ball. That's what I read online.
He might have made a mistake trying to catch the ball. I can buy that.
But to not try, like he just didn't try. He didn't care in a one-run game in the ninth inning with 2 outs. He just didn't care.
I don't think he was like, "Nah, I'm good, dog." I don't think that was the case. Ginger with a great comment. The fan base that had Kyle Hendricks for 10 years is not used to a slightly under-emotional player.
That's
well said, Ginger. Yeah. I mean, come on, let's all calm down.
I agree.
3 hits, a home run, a walk.
The only thing about Kyle Tucker in defense that I can hear at least is that it statistically hasn't shown to be as elite as it was in Houston. But is mid to late May, he's playing in new ballparks, playing at Wrigley Field, which is different than
indoors,
than Minute Maid Park or whatever it's called now, right?
Right.
It's different. And so I still play him in right field over Seiya Suzuki every day of the week, and we'll see where those numbers
Unless
are
he needs to rest.
In a couple months.
I would agree.
Craig said something along the lines of utilizing the DH more with like revolving players. I didn't hear it completely, but that's what I was reading on Twitter today about, with Ian Happ back, kind of revolving a few guys. So I'm interested to see how
to
he
get guys
does
off
that.
their feet a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we've been waiting for Tucker to get an off day, but they really haven't had the extra outfielder that you can afford to do that.
Right. So with Happ still dealing, who knows? I mean, let's just assume. Let's just hope. I wouldn't assume, but let's just hope because we know how this medical staff is sometimes. Let's hope that Happ is fine, but be able to DH him a couple times, and then you can put Seiya in left field. He showed at Wrigley he can play that. I feel like he could play left field better than he did right field, at least at Wrigley. I think when they're on the road, if you want to play Seiya in right field, fine. Pete, you got to play center field every day, man.
Well, that's also the thing. I believe it's easy to say playing next to PCA makes your job easy. It does. But I think it also takes some adjusting for guys that have never played with him before because this guy's out there like a gazelle running around and throwing his body all over the place, sometimes diving when he doesn't have a chance to even catch the ball, like the one that his teammates dogged him for. He's great. He's spectacular. But I do think there is a bit of an adjustment period for the other outfielders sort of getting used to, oh, man, this guy's here. He might get that. And so I'm not trying to make 1,000 excuses for Kyle Tucker. Corner outfielders, you were pretty lucky to have Jason Hayward as a defensive player for a long time. A truly great right fielder from a defensive standpoint, right? Like corner outfielders very rarely are spectacular defensive players. That's your center fielder. But Kyle Tucker is pretty athletic and pretty good, and I will stand here all day and say he's better than Seiya and right.
Yeah. Unrelated, Tigers just beat the Cardinals, so the Cubs are 2 games up in the division.
Amen. That's good to hear.
So I think we probably talked about the Tucker stuff a little bit too long, but in general,
I don't, because I think Cubs fans are
okay
because they're such a roller coaster, because we're such a roller coaster as a fan base that I don't want to see the fan base do to Kyle Tucker what they've done to Dansby Swanson and Ian Happ.
Yeah.
And even Nico at times. Like,
and Seiya
can we just, they won 14-1. I know he wasn't great last night, Tucker, but can we just relax?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want him to be signed or don't want him back next season, you're crazy. You just flat out crazy. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's one of the most important things the Cubs will have to decide in the next 12 months.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more rumors, as they said, as it's been reported by talking heads that they're going to go to him this summer to talk extension. So,
well, it's the smart. It's the smart. If you could somehow convince him to sign now to a deal, yes, because then Alcantara and Casey become expendable for a future move.
Yeah.
To get a pitcher or something else. Got it. We had somebody in the chat saying last night, trade him at the trade deadline. All right, let's get to those super chats.
That's like
Sarah.
every night.
We have a bunch of super chats. I know Braggs was the first one to fire one
after
in.
every loss, someone says it in the chat.
Here he is, Braggs. He just can't stay away. He loves us so much. Super chat, $10. Braggs in the stands. Mature at bat for Dansby. He was upset, I'll use, at the umpire for the previous strikeout. Missed hit by pitch. Lesser mature player gets tossed at some point, drives in the go-ahead run, slides under the tag, and scores.
Oh, look at Greg Braggs Jr. paying attention to detail.
Look at this.
He doesn't just look at offensive lines. He pays attention to details in baseball, too. This guy,
brick by brick,
he can
and
do it all.
dollar by dollar in his super chats. He's getting it done for us.
Look at him. No, he makes a good point. Dansby had a great game tonight, man.
Steven with a Toyota super chat.
Would
you agree that David Weathers is
Ryan Weathers.
He means Ryan. David was his father.
Yep.
But we understand is a good trade target for the Cubs. Their asking price could be high.
Yes.
I've liked what I've seen from him. Yeah.
And he's not going to.
I don't know if he's available, but I like what I see.
I mean, he's only made 2 starts, so he started the season on the injury list.
Yeah.
He's had some injuries throughout his career. He was a highly touted prospect with the Padres, I believe. Brendan had a good tweet about him today, related to, like, he was basically trying to manifest it happening. Like, he was saying, future Cubs ace Ryan Weathers goes against the Cubs tonight. tweeted something like that, and he talked about how he's very similar to a lot of the pitchers that the Cubs already have.
Yeah.
So the Cubs could obviously be very interested. And listen, the Marlins are a team that's going to be selling, and if they want to sell Weathers, great. And when you talk about the Marlins, you just never know what they're doing. It feels like they're selling every year, and so if he's
selling
available,
or winning the World Series.
If he's available, I don't think he's going to cost you an arm and a leg. You know what I mean? I personally would be into adding Weathers, even though he's a lefty. I mean, shit. You got to replace Justin Steele with someone, and I think he has the swing and miss. He's got high velocity like this. You'd be a good ad, in my opinion.
We're going to talk about Cade Horton's next start coming up tomorrow afternoon. I still want to talk about Shaw at the plate tonight, and we will get to that in a second. But first, a word from our sponsors. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is kicking off summer with a big Memorial Day savings all month long. Come in to shop the Memorial Day sales event and drive home with 0% financing for 60 months on select new Chevy models, or check out their incredible selection of over 125 vehicles they have priced under $20,000. With one of the Chicago area's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you're going to get a great deal. Plus, they have the Raise Price Promise. That lets you shop confidently because Raise Price Promise means that's their guarantee. No add-ons, no hidden fees, no gimmicks, meaning the price you see is the price you pay. You don't have to worry about price changing, stressful negotiating, or any tricks, which are just disgusting. The people at Ray Chevrolet just want to help you get in the right vehicle at the right price. Go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake. And don't miss out on their Memorial Day sales event going on all month long for 0% financing on select new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. And when you drive, Cody, you want to smell good.
Absolutely. One thing that has made me more confident is Mando whole body deodorant, Luke.
I've noticed.
Thank you. Whole body deodorant means safe to use anywhere on your body. You can choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, and more. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level is 0 out of 10. That's a tongue twister.
And we're not going to get into what the Grundle is, but go ahead and look it up and Google it if you need to.
You could, yes. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping, Luke. Free shipping. I know you like free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHGO at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Flat Earth Poker says they never use deodorant. Today is the day to change that.
Today is the beginning of the rest
Mount
of your
Fuji, life. The Sport,
yes,
Clover Woods. You can put it all over your body. And you walk in and people are just like, what is that beautiful
it's Mando.
Scent? It's like mountain air just blew through the office today. And it's like, no, Bragg's just loaded on the Mando.
Yeah.
It's that fresh.
Matt Gregory says that it was a 10 out of 10 ad read. I thought I struggled through that one since I don't read that one very often. You do a much better job, but I appreciate
it. It was a 10 out of 10. And Barb says nobody wants a smelly Grundle.
Nobody.
And again, Barb's 84? 84, Barb?
Close.
I think Barb's at 84. So that's veteran experience right there.
There you go.
That's experience knowing nobody wants a stinky Grundle. Matt Shaw. A couple of hits again tonight. Takes that one to the corner. We talked about the offense at the beginning of the show as the Cubs went 14-1. I also liked what Shaw was doing in the at-bats where he wasn't, quote-unquote, successful, didn't get a hit. I liked the at-bat that he had against Weathers. It might have been near the end of Weathers' day, and Shaw didn't get a hit, but he was fighting it off, and it was a long at-bat, and he eventually moved the runner over. And I was like, you know what? I'll take that. He moved the runner over. It was a competitive at-bat, and it didn't seem like he was overwhelmed by the situation. So far, 2 games back, looks like a successful trip down to Iowa.
Yeah, so...
And I know it's the Marlins.
I know most fans will just look at the fact that he, had showed off the opposite field power, and then, what he had a single. Well, he had 2 hits tonight. It was an infield single, and then
2 hits,
and then
the one to the corner that
double,
almost went out. And
right.
Cam says, it was an 11 pitch at bat that I'm talking about.
Right, but I think the 11, like the 10 or 11 pitch at bat, that was probably what impressed me the most tonight, outside of just showing off the opposite field power, because I felt like he was giving competitive at bats, or giving a competitive at bat. I feel like in these 2 games he has given competitive at bats. It's not like he's going up there swinging out of his shoes, and I feel like he's hitting balls that are thrown away from him with more authority. It's 2 games. It's the Marlins. Whatever way you want to look at it, it's still good to see him show some results, man, because it was tough to watch the first time around outside of a handful of games. So good to see him have some success, and looking forward to seeing him build off it. And my Rookie of the Year bet is looking good right now.
2 great comments from the chat here at the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. One is Craig says he agrees with me, and anytime you say that, I will read it, whether it's a super chat or not. And then the flip side of that would be Becky saying Hoerner needs to go next year after they win 14-1. Like, I'm for that comment. I'm here to listen to that comment. If you want to say it, Becky, I just wouldn't say it after a 14-1 win. Save it for possibly tomorrow or yesterday's show.
So
they won by 13 runs tonight. Can't we have some fun?
No fun. Anyway.
Michael says, he cut down on the leg kick. We noticed that turn with the leg is totally different, and he's more upright.
Yeah,
for sure.
Anyway, I think anything that Shaw's given them these first 2 games, if he just gives you a hit or 2 a night,
I think people have pointed out he's got more hits than Birdie and the other guys.
Our good pal Kevin Welsh tweeted that. During the game after he got that.
He's a big Shawzy.
Yeah.
He's a Shawzer.
Yeah. He has 4 hits in the month of May. The other 3 guys less than that. So, yeah.
You get another look at one of their top prospects. I would assume that Shaw will be in the lineup again. And then you also get Cade Horton on the mound tomorrow against the White Sox in his first career start. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 home runs. And then he also had the relief appearance before that.
The wind was howling out that day.
Listen, you know how many games we've seen just in the lifetime of this podcast, let alone all the games we've watched over our lives at Wrigley Field? 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 homers with the wind howling out is actually a really, really good performance. You know how many times that turns into 4 home runs, 7 runs, 7 runs, and the guy gets the hook after 3 innings? Lots of times.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it from my television because I was in the bleachers that day, but the 2 homers he gave up, were they both to Miguel Vargas?
I think so, yes.
So,
no, one was to the leadoff guy, wasn't it? Or was that a different game?
That was a different game. That was Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. So
ignore me.
Anyway, I just think that this how much different is the Marlins offense from the White Sox? I don't know. I think the Cubs have given up a few more runs to the Marlins than they had the White Sox, so maybe the Marlins offense is a little bit better. But what I'm looking for from Cade Horton tomorrow is to continue to throw strikes. Hasn't had a problem walking dudes these first 2 outings out. And I thought he did as well as you could have asked for a guy that had 27-mile-an-hour gusts and wind blowing straight to dead center out to left. So, and he's going to do it against a lineup that, is not good. So he's gathered some experience these first two starts, played the Mets, and showed some promise in that series or in that game. Just look for him to take another step. And I'm curious. I guess my biggest thing that I'm curious about is pitch count.
Yeah, this is why we talked about this was a good injury or not. We thought this might be a good stretch to see Horton sort of eased into the big leagues. Now, it's not easy when the wind is howling out at Wrigley Field, but the White Sox offense is a nice one to go after. I'd like to see him go after the Marlins tomorrow, and then I'd like to see him pitch against the Rockies too.
Yeah.
Ease your way in against some of these teams that are, borderline AAA to 4A teams.
Yeah. And it's a good soft landing spot for them too, considering the schedule, right? He came up, faced the Mets, and actually was way better than I think a lot of people might have expected. Maybe not as good against the White Sox, but wind conditions didn't help. Now we'll see what he does on the road here against the Miami team in a ballpark that's probably got more Cubs fans in it. On a quick turnaround game, a getaway day after a big 14-1 win. Yeah, your bullpen's pretty fresh, so I think either way it's fine. But I guess bare minimum for every Cade Horton start is 5 innings.
That's what you want to see for sure. At least 5 innings. Phil K says in the live YouTube chat, Cade Keller combo tomorrow. So you'd like to see Keller coming in after Horton, kind of piggyback him a little bit. I just think they've had a lot of stuff.
Depends on the score.
Yeah. Well, I just think they have a lot of stuff open up because of what Flexen and Taillon were able to do after, working Palencia over and over. I probably would say, hey, Palencia, sit again, then take the next day off and get some good rest for a couple days in a row. I bet we see
we'll see Ethan Roberts tomorrow.
Yep.
Who apparently was pitching well in Iowa before coming back up. So
Mo Baller option down.
Yep.
Which I know a lot of Mo Baller fans, nobody should be surprised. It was a nice introduction to Major League Baseball. Yeah. He's got stuff he can go down and work on. He's been dominating at that level. His family randomly was going to be in Iowa, got to see him play at Wrigley Field. Good stuff. Now go down and fix your craft just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, right? I think he hit a lot of ground balls, but he had a lot of hard contact, and I think he only struck out once or twice.
Yeah, I don't have any huge complaints. Yeah. I think the people that all thought he was going to come up and hit like 5 home runs in his first 4 plate appearances, we're all delusional. 5 homers and 4 plate appearances. That's what I think some people were hoping for.
Yeah.
I will say there was a lot of rollover ground ball to second base / first base.
Yeah.
But I think he talked about it after the first game. Like, he was nervous.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
Right.
I can't imagine being that young and being at Wrigley Field and seeing that type of crowd for the first time in your life. It's different. And I would agree, Wrigley, man. We will see him back before it's over.
Will. Absolutely. As far as Porter Hodge, I'm just a month. That's what I'm expecting. He'll be out a month. That's what I expect.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to get over it. What helps is that when the offense starts scoring, goes back to scoring 6-7 runs a game. That helps any team. When they score 14, it's even better.
Right. But I am intrigued to see who takes the opportunity here.
Yeah.
Like I've been waiting for Ethan Roberts to finally get back to what I saw in 2022 when we launched. He made the team out of spring training because he earned the job, and he looked, if he was wild, he walked some dudes, but man, he threw gas, and that sweeper was electric. So he just needed to get innings in, and then Tommy John happened. Since he's came back, not throwing as hard, still got the great sweeper, but I'm curious on. I'm not saying that he has to throw super hard to be effective, but if you're not, then you still got to find a way to get outs. And he's getting outs in Iowa. when he went back. But I don't know how many more chances the Cubs can give a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the guy. I'm rooting for him. So I'm hoping that Ethan Roberts can take on this opportunity and kind of steal it. Like, if he does that, then we're not going to have to ask Jed to go out there and get like the next Tyson Miller or Drew Pomerantz. You know what I mean? That's what I would love to see. I'm not banking on it, and I don't exactly feel optimistic about it, but this is an opportunity for him to really earn a role and stay here, you know? And then Daniel Palencia or Brad Keller. Those are my top two options for closer. We'll see.
I see in the chat, and they've mentioned it a couple of times about Schwarber's 300th homer yesterday. That was the last thing we wanted to mention before we leave tonight. Shout out to Schwarbs for 300. Yeah, he's easily – I don't see how there's any way he doesn't hit 400. I think there is a chance that he's a 500 homer guy before his career is over.
Well, the guy
because there can be plenty of DH opportunities. And
yeah. What, he's 30?
I think
31?
Yeah, I think there's a chance that he's a 500 home run guy. I don't see any way that he doesn't get 400.
Yeah. Well, is
Babe Ruth. He was Babe Ruth when he was here. When he first got here, he was Babe Ruth.
I won't go through the spiel. Everyone knows how I feel about him not being here. So, but I am happy for him. I'm rooting for him, except against the Cubs.
Except for against the Cubs. Got to win a series tomorrow.
Got to win the series.
Got to win a series. The tone that is on this podcast tonight will be totally different tomorrow if they lose a game and a series to the Marlins.
Someone in the chat said something about that. I want to say it was KM. Said something about it's K space M, Sarah. So he has a lot of comments. But he said something about, we can't celebrate this offense and then if they lose tomorrow.
Well, we can celebrate it, but it's just going to be a different attitude tomorrow. Right. At least that's how I approach it. When they win 14-1, we're going to have a mostly positive post-game show. And I did notice one of the most recent chats, somebody was saying, hey, girlfriend's out of town and for the summer, and so this lets me feel like I'm connected chatting with the boys. Nicholas and Justin, first time watching it live. Thanks for all you do. And for Cubs fans, we appreciate you guys. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe.
Hit the subscribe
to
button.
The new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. And like it and tell somebody.
Yeah. And we got 69 likes. If we can get that 70th, it's still nice. But
listen,
hit the like button for the algorithm.
And I know what Corey's been asking for. Is 14-1, you do the beer bat chug. I'll milk the cow. I'll milk the cow if the Cubs win. In fact, if somebody that follows this show has a real cow and it's close enough, I'll go milk the cow.
Mark it, pin it.
Cubs win 14-1. We're back here tomorrow afternoon after the show. Until then, thanks for watching the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. See you tomorrow. Fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.